2017 headline news has included events such as hurricanes, politics, protests, and from the Atoka High School class of 54, the 2017 Atoka Alumni Association's Hall of Fame inductee, Herbert V. Bryant. Mr. Bryant was the fourth of 6 children born to Frank Sr. and Helen Baldwin Bryant in 1936 in Caney, Kansas. His siblings were James Robert, Frank Jr., Billy Jack, Elizabeth Ann, and Donald Jean. The family moved to Atoka where they had strong ties with Dr. B.F. Bryant and the Smizer and Stanley families. Bryant attended Atoka Grade School where Miss Mamie Johnson was his math teacher. You know, this is a really nice news article, but as Paul Harvey would say, here's the rest of the story. Herb's father worked intermittently at the cleaners in Atoka, and so his family didn't have just a lot of money. And so when he started school, he was excited because he had never seen indoor plumbing. So at recess, he went in and he turned on all the faucets, and then he ran up and down the restroom trying to make everything flush at once. And his newfound joy quickly faded, though, when the teacher found him at the water fountain and he was trying to turn it up so high that it would reach the ceiling. Needless to say, Herb was a regular in the office. Mr. Sumter paddled him in the 3rd grade, and then several times in 4th grade, and then again in 5th grade. But somehow, little Herbie still managed to receive the All-American Boy Award. After the death of his father, Herb's mother worked hard to provide for her children, and she always taught them the value of hard work and respect and good character. And even after they became adults, when they were all together, she continued to encourage them to be respectful and to choose their words wisely. For example, she would never say that Herb was stubborn. Instead, she would say that Herb was courageous in his convictions. Bryant had a job sweeping out various school buildings his senior year. In the spring of 1953, Herb was elected president of the student council. He was a member of the National Honor Society and was selected and attended Boys State in Norman, Oklahoma. He had also joined the National Guard, in which he participated for 8 years. Hey, look at that picture. He also played football for the Wampus Cats, and rumor is he even tried out for the baseball team, but the coach at that time was the superintendent, Mr. George Morrison. And so he walked up to Herb one day, put his arm around his shoulders and said, "Herbie, I think you can better use your time elsewhere." Bryant attended Augustana University in Sioux Falls, South Dakota, where he earned a Bachelor's of Science in Math with a minor in Physics. At the same time, he earned his private pilot's license while he was working at Morrell's, a major meat packing plant. While working at the meat packing plant, one of the older guys asked Herb one day what he was going to do. You know, you can't work at a meat packing plant forever. So Herb was telling him about his ideas of engineering and what he was going to do. And the older man slapped his hand on the trimming board and said, "Baloney! If you really wanted to get into engineering, don't you think you'd be out there doing just that instead of shoveling meat to us trimmers?" Herb's first college class, Meat Packing Plant, Life 101. In 1961, a Navy aviator recruiter arrived on campus and Herbert Bryant answered the call of duty. He reported to the Naval Air Station at Pensacola, Florida in 1962, just barely missing the maximum age cutoff. After completing advanced flight training, he was designated a naval aviator and pinned on the Wings of Gold. He then spent 3 years in a fleet squadron, then came ashore and served for a year and a half as a flight instructor before going to Monterey, California to attend post-Navy graduate school. In 1971, Herb was assigned to the USS Ticonderoga as an assistant naval navigator. What Herb didn't realize at this time was that this title meant he was really being groomed for a much higher office. Hey, he just thought he was getting to drive a big old boat and rescue astronauts. Since the Tycho was scheduled to be decommissioned, the navigators made sure that the last login would be archived with one name: Herbert V. Bryant, USS Ticonderoga. In 1973, when he left the Ticonderoga, Herb was assigned to the Defense Communication Agency, Code 490, as a liaison officer for presidential and White House communications support during the Nixon era and the Watergate scandal. If you ask Herb what he did during that time, he'll tell you that he erased tapes in the White House basement. Upon leaving the White House, Bryant did a short tour where he was deployed to Sicily and Iceland, and in December of 1977 was selected for commander. In January of 78, he detached from his squadron and headed for Puerto Rico as executive officer of the Naval Communications Station. After a 20-year career in the Navy, where he was awarded the Meritorious Service Medal and the Black Shoe Award, Bryant began an interesting new career in financial planning and money management and established the Bryant Financial Group. He was pleased to help make millionaires out of several of his clients. Working as a financial planner in Jacksonville, Florida, allowed Bryant to spend time with his children and grandchildren. His son, Aubrey, is an emergency room doctor and lives in Greenville, South Carolina with his wife, Beth. They have 3 children, Karsten and his new bride, Christine, Bonnie, and Sam. Just ask Herb about these 3 young people and he may not stop talking. His daughter, Andrea, is a tech writer and lives in Jacksonville, Florida with her husband, David, and 3 children, Caroline, Devin, and Allison. And yes, Herb loves to tell stories about these girls too. He may not stop talking. In 2001, Herb Bryant returned to his roots in Atoka. Oh no, wait just a minute, hold on. Why in the world would someone who has been around the world, worked at the White House, had a home in sunny Florida, why would he move back to Atoka? Well, let me tell you why. Herb Bryant loves Atoka, which he even fondly calls Atopia. He wants to see this town grow and prosper and be a landmark in this part of the state. No, he wants it to be a landmark in this part of the country. If you've ever been downtown and you've heard the music, that's Herb. He constantly supports school programs and civic and nonprofit organizations with enthusiasm, and all without great fanfare, simply because he loves Atoka, Oklahoma. Herb has found his little piece of heaven at 311. From Scratch Hill to Sioux Falls, from the Tycho to the White House, from Puerto Rico to Jacksonville, and finally back to Atoka. It's a great day to be a Wampus Cat for the 2017 Atoka Alumni Association Hall of Fame recipient, Herbert V. Bryant.